Come on in, y'all. Woo, we down to the wire today. I think Miss Jordan's coming in. Hey, y'all. Hey, Shakira. Hey, Mason. Hey, Auntie Val.
Hey.
Hey, Jordan.
Hello, hello.
Woo. I was deshelling shrimp, like trying
Girl,
to get
we
it
made
in.
it.
Like, what's up, 30 pigs? How you doing?
Excellent.
Good.
Excellent.
Good.
Another day, another dollar.
Yes. I am ready. I am excited.
I almost ate a tortilla with some cheese in the child. I'm starving.
I know. Well, it's a good thing we did our prep beforehand.
Yes.
Let me grab my clams.
Yes. Get all your things. I'm going to open my wine because Ashley's here with me, my trusty camera lady. Would you like something to post your elbow on?
Oh.
No?
Yes.
Oh, well,
there you go.
I just, is that? Yes.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. Yes, Miss M Fitz. I had sent you a message about the prep. But it is okay. Jordan has assured us that if you didn't get to make the sofrito, it's gonna be okay.
It will be okay. You'll be fine.
Hey, Frankie, hey, y'all. Hey, George. I'm trying to keep up with everybody.
Hey, Leslie.
Hello.
Hey,
and
George.
I missed the important thing besides the paella. I need some wine.
Yeah, so what did you get for your wine? Tell me.
I got you. I got a few things. We always go off the script, right?
Yes.
So I got Arborio,
Mm-hmm.
and I did get a Tempranillo.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go Rioja. I actually went Ribera del Duero, and we'll share this as we go along.
Mm-hmm.
And I also,
Hey, Tiff.
why not? I got a Verdejo. So, because I remember us talking about that last week. So, y'all, if y'all have any questions or anything, there is a little question box that's at the bottom of the screen. That way, we'll be able to reference them in case we're like in the middle of cooking and everything and we can't see. We missed something because we're over here doing our thing. So. Yes. Drop an emoji if you are cooking with us, if you're drinking with us, if you're taking notes, and also let us know where you're repping, where are you coming in from. The one crazy thing about this COVID-19 scenario is that it has brought us together virtually, and it's allowing all of us to pivot and do things we wouldn't normally do, which is all good stuff.
I think I've discovered I need some glasses though, because these comments could not be any smaller. I'm like, eh.
I see some Tempranillo in the building. Yes.
So
Come on in.
I got a Tempranillo. I got a Castillo Clavillo Gran Reserva 2011. I got, and I'll show them again later with the labels switched. I also got Valdo Sosego Arborio.
Deela's trying to crash the party, but there's two of us, so on IG Live you can't crash with more than two.
Who's trying to crash?
Dealin. I know. Why?
Jesus. But hey, we haven't met, but we're gonna be best friends. You don't even know. I got a Valdo Sosego from Maria's Baixas. This is a 2018.
Awesome.
And then,
damn,
Gina. Tesoro de Bullas, a Monastrell from Bullas, Spain, is my shake things up. This is a Monastrell Syrah blend. This is my kind of wrench in the pairings. And my Tempranillo, I chilled just a little bit.
Yep. Yes, please, 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 please. For any of you all who are drinking red, please chill it a little bit. Just put it in the refrigerator and take it out if you haven't opened it already.
Yeah.
Just put it in the refrigerator and take it out maybe about,
hey, white mistress.
For about 20-ish minutes, just to put a slight chill on it.
Yeah, I had mine in there because this is, I found a, like, child, I'm going to cut the top and then didn't even, I'm sorry. It's time for wine. I cut the top of the.
It's always time for wine, especially these days, but yeah, it's time. So I was so excited about my little sofrito. I've never done that before. I was super hyped.
So let me just talk about the sofrito for a second. This sofrito is literally like, kind of like the holy grail ingredient for multiple recipes. If you're from like the Bayou, it's like the holy trinity that goes in gumbos. It's one of those things that you just literally put in everything. It's a staple in Cuban dishes. It's a staple in Puerto Rican dishes. Obviously, different regions are going to have their own style and version of it, but onions, some type of pepper, different herbs, but relatively the same type of style will give you different types of sofrito. But you're basically making like a holy trinity of some type of vegetable and spices. This just happens to be one for paella. If you didn't make your sofrito ahead of time, when we get to this step, you're just going to saute your onions, your peppers, and a little bit of garlic together until they're nice and soft. I like making mine ahead of time. I always have sofrito in my freezer. When I say I put it in everything, if I'm roasting a chicken, I dump them in there. Like the black beans that are hello Scotia Bay, I'm making shirts, y'all. Like just wait on it. Like I got you. The black beans that we're making is not going in the paella. That's on the side. There's gonna be sofrito in my black beans. I do not make black beans without sofrito. Like you're making a sandwich, hello, spread some on there. Why put just a regular old tomato on a sandwich when you can put some that's been sauteed in garlic and olive oil and rosemary and all this amazing things and spread that on your bread? Like it's good on everything. So that's essentially what we were making. If you're making spaghetti, hello, you've got sauce, put it in the freezer. So we made a big batch so that we had some for the paella. We've got some for the black beans, the rest, bag that junk up, throw it in the freezer. Next time you're making anything that needs any type of flavor, throw it in there.
That's perfect because it's funny because Dre was asking me today. He's like, so how many people are you cooking for today? I was like, I mean, it's just you and me and our 4-year-old, but I heard I could freeze it.
It's a big batch. And y'all know, like I say, I give you the instructions and then take your own liberties. Some people want a little bit more. Some people want a little bit less. You want to add a little bit extra. Once you taste your black beans, you may be like, I need a little bit more of this. Throw some more in there. Your paella, if you're looking like, it's looking a little dry, it's going in both.
Okay.
It's going in both. Yeah. So, and then once you've had it and you understand the flavors, then you're going to be like, I'm so glad I have more. Spread that on toasted, crusty bread. Okay, Shakira, see, you understand what I'm saying, okay?
No. Yes.
Okay, she gets it, sis. Yes, that's exactly the point. Like, once you have some, you'll just want it. So we made a big batch of it. We'll have it. I'm sorry, I'm taking forever opening this wine. I'm all distracted. If you're not doing the seafood, I didn't get any messages from anybody doing chicken. But if you're doing the chicken, when we get to the step where we're just heating up the oil, you're going to have wanted to do like boneless, skinless chicken thighs just because I don't have the time to walk you through getting your meat off the bone. You're just going to sear your chicken, salt and pepper, sear it in the oil, not to where it's cooked completely, just to sear it because it's easier to cut once it's seared. I hate cutting up raw chicken because you're just chasing it around your cutting board. So you'll just sear it for a little bit. We'll move on to like either sauteing our sofrito, or the people that didn't make it ahead of time will be sauteing. While that's in the pan doing its thing, you just move your chicken off to a cutting board and cut it up into cubes. And then when we add in our seafood, you will add your chicken in at the same time. Once it's in the smaller pieces, then don't worry about it not being cooked all the way. It will finish cooking at the same time. But if you're not allergic to seafood and you added chicken, shame on you.
Can I say how excited I've been about this dish since you announced it last week? I have been looking forward to this like I'm going out to eat, because we just don't eat like this normally at home. It's like I'm the one cooking, but I'm like, oh, I'm going out.
Yes.
It's going to be good.
Excellent. All right. So
what do we need to do, Chef?
You have wine. Everybody's got wine.
Yes.
Let's, all right. So heat up your pan. Lord help me. I have so many wines over here. I'm just all over the place, y'all. And I'm so hungry. So y'all know I get like super nervous before these.
Talk to that, Jordan. If people weren't able to get a paella pan, what?
Oh, yes. Cast iron skillet, Dutch ovens, big frying pan, stainless steel, non-stick. Essentially, a paella pan looks like this. It's about 2 inches, 1.5 inches thick. So if you've got a frying pan about this size, you've got a cast iron skillet. It will work. Even, you know, the ceramic Dutch oven pots that look like this. I've done paella in these. It's fine. Just something with a wide bottom. Shut up, Ashley. She just gave me a face. Anyways, just a pot, you know, it'll be fine.
That's my
get
Charms is asking, does your paella pan fit on one burner? I have that same question. Kinda. I saw Aisha Curry was making paella last week, but her stove is not like ours.
So mine extends a little further outside my burner because I'm not cooking on gas. But the beauty of the paella pans is they're designed to distribute heat really evenly. This is a dish that originated in Valencia in Spain, and it originated with people cooking outside. So with wind and those types of things, these pans were designed for, you know, outside cooking, camping. This was a very rustic, like poor people's dish, like most of the best foods are. So the pans were designed to not be in a home with the perfect cooking conditions. So if you've got a paella pan, it should be distributing the heat pretty nicely. If you know your stove is kind of janky and one side is hotter than the other, halfway through, just rotate that thing.
Yeah, that's so how mine is. I have like one really good high, and then the other ones are trash.
Do you? So I'm gonna cut my pan on
warm or whatever. It's like, why are you here? What's your purpose? So
I'm cutting my pan on like a medium high-ish heat.
Medium.
And then I'm going to have Ashley turn the camera around so you guys can see what I am doing. If you have any questions, she's going to read them to me, and then we're going to get going. All right. All ready?
Ready. Should it be smoking? Is that normal?
Huh?
Should it be smoking a little bit?
Yeah, probably, because it's new.
Okay. All right.
It happens. So I'm getting about 1/3 cup of olive oil.
Okay.
Into my pan. You know I don't measure, so if you're one of those people that needs to measure, just do that. First things that are going to go into the pan is I salt my oil. Okay? So I've got my salt. I'm going to generously salt my oil. If you have, I know that everybody's got quite a few different ingredients. I have clams, mussels, shrimp, squid, and salmon. I know I didn't write salmon on there. I realized once I took all my ingredients out of my fridge that there wasn't enough meat. And so I thought I had another bag of shrimp.
A technical difficulty. For some reason, this looks like the pan is burning. Is it supposed to look like?
Let me see your pan.
Trying to burn. Yeah, why is mine doing that? Damn you, Amazon. Right? I'm gonna just trust God. I didn't have it on super high.
You have gas?
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
All right. I'm gonna let this because it starts smoking a bit. I don't want that. So okay, but I'm listening.
Because we got to burn the rice a little bit at the end anyways, but if you want to just take notes, but you may need to turn it down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it down for sure.
Okay. Mine is also a new pan because I had to go get a new one because, like I said, see, mine is starting to smoke a little bit too, but I don't have gas.
Yeah, we're keeping it real here. This is real life.
This is live and in the flesh. All right, so I'm going in with my chorizo first. If you guys watched my IGTV, I couldn't find regular, like we don't eat pork here, so I couldn't find chicken chorizo, just the nature of the quarantine. So I have like a turkey andouille. It's not the same, y'all. It is what it is, but I'm gonna make it do what it do anyways. If you couldn't find the chorizo or don't want it, you can skip this step. We're just gonna cook these until they're a nice like golden brown. Once they hit a golden brown, you're gonna take them out and reserve them to the side.
Okay. So the garlic is in, right?
Hmm?
The garlic is in, right?
No garlic.
No garlic yet, just the chorizo and the olive oil.
Just chorizo, salt, and olive oil.
Salt, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
LP41968 wants to know, am I slicing the fresh chorizo?
Oh, take your knife and cut your chorizo down the middle to take it out of the casing, and then just squeeze it out into like little chunks, like little bite-sized chunks into the pan and get it out of the casing, and then brown your chorizo that way. But you're gonna want to get yours, because it's fresh, get yours out of the casing. So I'm just gonna get those moving around. While those are in there, y'all, I'm also going to, I've got my black beans rinsed and drained. Putting those into another pan. If you didn't have a pan ready, go ahead and get those into like a little pot. And I'm going, let's call this, I had a 28-ounce can of black beans. I'm gonna go 2 cups of sofrito. Do you? I love sofrito in my black beans. Do whatever you like. And then I'm going to go in with about 3/4 cup of water. Be right back.
All right. I'm catching back up.
And I'm going to put this on medium heat and give it a stir, just to get it all mixed up. If you've got cumin in your kitchen, you can top this with a little bit of cumin. Actually, 2 is not enough, because when I say I love sofrito, I love it. But let me get these. I smell them. Ooh, that's pretty. So I'm just getting some nice color on these. If you feel like your chorizo is cooking too fast, you can cut it down a little bit. But I just want a nice crisp on those, some nice color. You see how my middle ones are like really dark, but the ones I'm flipping on the sides aren't? So I'm now aware that the middle is a lot hotter than my sides. So that's just something I'll keep in mind when I'm cooking the rest of my things, that I may need to move my pan around a bit. For things that are cooking faster, I'll move off to the sides. And things that need, you know, a little bit more love, I'll scoot towards the middle.
So for the black beans, we're just adding a little bit of water. The sofrito.
A little bit of water. I like a good sofrito to bean quantity here. I had a 28
half sofrito bean.
I had a 28-ounce can of sofrito. I mean, of black beans. I went in with 2 scoops of sofrito, but it's looking like I want a little bit more, so I'm probably gonna do half a cup more.
We have a question. How much water did you say for the beans and the sofrito?
About 3/4 of a cup.
3/4 of a cup. Okay.
And then here are some bonus things. It's good as is with the black beans. Once we could add salt and pepper, but if you've got chili powder or cumin or garlic powder or onion powder, you can add those into the black beans and it will just further enhance. I have all of those things. So I'm going to use all of those things. I love cumin, so let's just call that.
So just season it until your ancestors say stop.
Yeah, just a little squash of all of them. I say a tablespoon of all of them. I did a tablespoon cumin, tablespoon of chili powder, tablespoon of onion powder, tablespoon of garlic powder, and a tablespoon of onion powder. If you don't have those, they're good with just the sofrito and salt and pepper. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. The sofrito's already got rosemary, garlic, onions, bell peppers, and it's got all that good stuff. Okay, so I'm taking my sausage out. Is this hot? No, we're good. Okay, so the pan is nice and hot. I do have some smoke on here. The next thing that's going to go in, if you got squid or calamari, I'm going to just kind of par cook that next, but because I know my pan is kind of screaming hot, I'm turning my pan down to low because I don't want to burn them. Actually, I'm going to turn it off for just a second. And what I like to do when I'm cooking something, when I know when I've gone from something really hot to something that could potentially burn really quickly, is just do one test one. Like, just put one in there and see how it does.
Okay.
So I put a piece of my squid in there. If you guys got scallops, I know a couple of y'all got scallops. This would be the time to also throw in your scallops. He didn't burn, so that's good. So I'm satisfied with the amount of heat that's in here. So I'm going to go in with my squid. If you got calamari.
I missed that.
What you say?
You took the sausage out.
Huh?
You took the sausage out.
Yes, sausage out. Calamari or scallops in.
Okay.
I'm turning my flame back on, or my heat back on to medium heat. Okay. Just gonna cook these for a little bit and a little bit. Nope, I salted my oil. If you have your fresh rosemary still, I've got about 4 sprigs still left from when I purchased it. I'm gonna throw half of them in now. The rest I'm reserving for the garnish at the end. Okay? I just want to infuse some of this rosemary in to the oil that's in the pan. Just move these around. If you're doing scallops, once you put them in the pan, just sear it on one side. Don't be moving them around a whole bunch. Put them in the pan, sear it on one side.
Jordan, for the scallops, how long should they be on one side?
What you say? How long should the scallops be on one side?
2 minutes, flip
Okay.
them over. If your pan is hot, 2 to 3 minutes one side, flip them over, 2 to 3 minutes on that side.
Okay.
Calamari and squid, people, we're just looking for them to be nice and bright white. We don't need to cook them to their entirety. We're just getting a par cook on those. We don't want them to be rubbery at the end, okay? This is what I'm looking for. They got some nice color on them. I can smell that rosemary, those essential oils in this rosemary is infused into the oil. So I'm going to take these back out. I am putting them back into the container that I got them. They are not fully cooked and they will continue to cook in the sauce. So don't worry about it being raw back into this container because they are going to cook again. Okay.
How y'all holding up out there?
Y'all all right?
Not as dialed into the comments because we cooking.
Ashley's trying
But
to
if
keep
you
us.
have a question, ooh, I see some questions. Hold on. Oh, showing you both love. Thanks, sis. Drinking Grenache and Arborio. My chorizo does not look like yours. It looks like liver pudding.
What? Who said that?
Miss and Fitz.
Well, mine is, if you remember, I said mine is a turkey andouille because I could not find chicken chorizo. And I don't eat pork, so.
I'll show you what mine looks like. Hold on. I mean, mine wasn't as seared, but I feel like I got a little something on it. I know it cooked through, so hopefully that helps. That's what mine looks like. And I'm using a chicken, a chicken sausage as well. I'm still on my scallops. I'm a little behind too, just because of the whole pan situation. So.
Okay, I want to move right along for those that are keeping up. Here's some wine for Ashley. I'm giving my black beans a little stir. If you've done your beans, I have not salted my black beans yet because I like to cook these nice and low and slow, and I don't want to concentrate the flavors of the salt. And we're basically kind of just reduce these flavors down, and I don't want to reduce the flavor of salt. If you've taken your squid or head in with your sofrito, 2 cups of that into the pan.
Great Chick wants to know, can you put this up on your story so I can start from the beginning? Michael would love this.
Larissa posts these to her YouTube channel once we're done. I don't know how to do none of that stuff.
Can you put this? Oh, yeah, for sure. Got it.
It'll be up on Larissa's stories for 24 hours. And then
I'm going to download this and put it on YouTube as well.
So I went in with 2 cups of chorizo. If you didn't make your sofrito ahead of time, now's the time to go ahead in with onions.
2 cups.
Yes, 2 cups. That's what I said.
You said chorizo.
Oh, shit. 2 cups of sofrito into your pan on medium to medium high heat. Okay? If you didn't make it ahead of time, add your onions, your peppers, and if it looks a little dry, add a little bit of olive oil, and let's just kind of caramelize these up a little bit in the fat that we just created with the andouille or the chorizo or whatever you're cooking with. If you've got a little extra sofrito and you want to add a little more, do your thing. I'm going to add a skosh more. You can also, at this point, add a little bit more salt and pepper. You guys know I like to season as I go instead of trying to do it all at the end. So when we made the sofrito, we didn't add any salt and pepper because I never know what I'm going to use my sofrito for. So sometimes I just like to season it when I use it. So now's the time I'm going to add some salt and some pepper to it. I like pepper, y'all, so. Smelling good, looking good. How we doing, guys?
Hanging in there. I got like two big scallops that we don't want to do what they're supposed to do.
That's all good. Let me get a nice even layer of this, okay? The beauty of doing this ahead of time is it doesn't have to take forever. If you couldn't make your sofrito ahead of time, you just want to saute these down until they're nice and translucent. For your black beans, if you think that they're starting to cook down where all your water's evaporated out, that's not what you want. Add in a little bit more water, maybe in half a cup increments.
Okay.
We want to just keep them on like a low to medium heat just so they can absorb all that flavor really slowly. Mine are still pretty juicy, so I'm okay with the level of moisture in there. Mine, and I'm gonna have a wine break, and I'm not making the same mistake I made last week where I left my white wine out the whole time.
Jordan, so all we have in the pan right now is a sofrito
Mm-hmm.
with some salt and pepper.
Yes, salt and pepper in the sofrito. Some people may be ready to move on. I don't know. So some people are moving a little quicker. I don't know what y'all are doing. But if you are, the next step, just so everybody's aware, once we've got like a little bit of caramelization on the sofrito or your peppers and onions, the next step will be to add your paprika, your stock, and your saffron. Bring it up to a boil.
Okay.
The quantities for the stock is going to be based on how much rice you're cooking. A good rule of thumb for paella, not all rice, because they're going to be a little bit different here, but for every cup of rice you have, I usually start at about 2.5 times the amount of stock. So I'm doing 2.5 cups of rice. So I have about 6.25 cups of stock. I use the bouillon cubes as you've seen the last 2 weeks. So I have already dissolved my bouillon cubes in my water, and then I just threw my saffron in there so it could kind of bloom ahead of time. If you've got stock, that's cool, but just base your amount of stock on how much rice you're going to use. My paella pan was kind of thick, and there's like 5 people in my house, so I'm doing 2.5 cups of rice, so I'm going to use roughly 6.25 cups of stock. But again, these are guidelines, not law. I've got people that are watching in Denver. Altitude will affect how much water that you need to add. We're in Georgia, but I've got friends in Cali that are watching. Humidity will affect how much water you need to add. Shout out to my cousin Damon. He's in London, and it's like midnight there. So I love you for tuning in every week.
Damon.
Different.
Jordan, real quick.
Yes.
What's in our pan right now?
What?
Salt, pepper. What else?
What's in the sofrito?
What's in our pan right now?
What's in my pan?
Yes, besides the sofrito.
Just the sofrito.
Just the sofrito still?
Yep.
Okay.
We're just caramelizing it.
Oh, I like that term. Okay, we fancy.
Like that?
We caramelizing stuff.
We're caramelizing it, just getting a little color on it, developing those flavors, melting them down together, developing those flavors. But depending on where you live, the moisture level of how you cook your rice, baking, that type of thing will affect certain things. But 2.5 times liquid to the amount of rice you have will affect certain things. But that's a good marker for that. So if you're ready, which I'm ready, if y'all are ready, I was just giving everybody a chance to catch up because some people are doing different ingredients. My sofrito is looking good. I've evaporated out a lot of the moisture. If you can hear, listen to it, y'all. Just listen to it. See how it's making a lot less noise? It's still making a little noise, but it's a lot quieter. That means that we've lost a lot of the moisture. Moisture means water. Water means less flavor. So I want to cook out all the water and just be left with the flavor. So that's a good sign. Okay, so I'm going in with the paprika. I don't remember how much I told y'all, so do what the ingredient list said. I'm just going to put some in there. Boom.
My ancestors say stop.
Hello? They spoke to me, Jordan. Stop now. Boom. So paprika.
I see y'all in here. Got Reaper in here, Vino Van, Wine with Whitney. Thank y'all so much for joining us. We really appreciate y'all. I'm trying to keep up.
I'm trying to go a little slower since this isn't our usual, situations. I'm going to scoot Ashley over because my stock is by her butt.
Emery, I'm on the thing. Real life. I'm on my thing.
This is real life, y'all. All right, so I'm going in with my stock. Lord be with me that this size pan can accompany my ambitions for this much paella, because I really didn't think this through, but
So we're adding stock. Okay.
Add in the stock and the paprika and the saffron.
Oh, and the saffron. Okay.
Yes. Boom.
So I have fish stock and I have chicken stock. Just add it all.
In.
You recommended. Okay.
Yep. And then we're gonna bring our stock to a boil. My saffron said, "Hell no, we won't go." This is what saffron looks like, y'all. If you've not seen it, this is per ounce the most expensive spice in the world by weight.
Cheap. One cheap, y'all.
It has to be handpicked with tweezers.
LP41968 wants to know which stock is this and how much saffron?
A generous pinch of saffron. I'll let you decide.
It's almost like you can't over season this, right? Like this is supposed to be kind of just bursting with flavor.
It's supposed to be extremely savory. So no, it cannot be over seasoned. I used the chicken, the not chicken. I'll show y'all the bouillon cubes. I used these guys because this is what I have in my house, the not chicken bouillon cubes. But if you use the combination of the fish and the chicken or all fish, whatever combination you're using, now is the time for all of the babies. Okay? All right. So just give this a little mix because we want to make sure that your sofrito, and I'm switching to a spoon now. Want to make sure that your sofrito is evenly distributed at the bottom of the pan. Okay. Oh, y'all, I'm excited.
I am too.
Smelling good. All right. If your stock starts boiling, the next step is going to be to add in your rice. Once you add in your rice, you're going to take like a fork or something and just kind of gently get an even coating or like evenly distributed at the bottom of your paella pan. Once you have an even distribution of your rice at the bottom of the pan, that will be the last time that you stir it. So you guys that are in the habit of standing over stuff and just stirring it to holy hell, not today, okay?
Not today, Lord.
Okay.
So recap real quick the seasoning. You said saffron, paprika,
stock.
And what? Say it again.
And the stock. That's it.
That's it? Okay.
That's it. We can hit it with a little salt and pepper.
Yep.
Okay.
I added my little skosh.
A little scotch, okay? I'm going to crank my heat up a little bit because I want this to boil today, not tomorrow, okay?
And I want to show y'all what I'm working with so far, just so y'all can see. That's where I'm at right now.
Beautiful.
So
if yours doesn't look as juicy as mine, remember, I'm making a lot because I want to feed my camera woman. I want to send her home with some food. So, in my pay.
Thanks. Yeah. Definitely forgot. LP for 1968, rice time when your stock starts to boil. Jordan, are you there, sis? I can't hear you. Can y'all hear me? And Jordan, I don't hear Jordan right now. If y'all can hear Jordan but not hear me, just say so in the comments, please.
Am I here?
Now you are. Okay.
Don't Teddy Riley me Instagram. No.
Here. I was like, no. No.
Don't do it to me.
We are not about to be a meme.
Don't Teddy me.
Don't Teddy me.
Okay. So I've lowered my heat to like a medium. The small bubbles are fine. We want the rice to cook.
Aw, damn. Jordan. Come back, sis. Come back. She didn't throw in the towel. No. Billy, she ain't throwing the towel yet. Oh, gosh. This quarantine, y'all, has been something. Let me get you back, sis. We can't do... Oh, I think she's going to try to join again. I'm like, no, not like this. I don't know what to tell them. She'll be back. I can talk about the wine. I can't talk about this paella. We gonna be the blind leading the blind. Well, in the meantime, I'm adding my rice. And I'm gonna do what Jordan said, and she said to pretty much just make sure that all the grains are at the bottom of the pan. So spread them around, and then that's all I got. Yeah. All right. So, to my understanding, we haven't added. Okay, here we go. She's back. Boom. Here she comes.
My phone got too hot. Let me show y'all what my phone did. Oh, it won't even turn on. It got too hot. I got the oldest phone in creation, and it said it was too hot. So, thankfully, for my camera lady, we're back in business. Let me clean this off, though. Hold on, because
it'll take
you got to see me in my glory, y'all.
Yes.
Okay, we're back. No Teddy today. Okay.
I like this, Lord. Please don't have me crash the bird trying to figure out this paella because I don't know what to do.
Oh no, I got you. I was like, Jesus. Okay. So it's gonna take a second for
two questions.
Yes.
No chorizo back in. The only thing that's in our pan right now is the sofrito, the broth, the smoked paprika, the saffron, and then at this point it should be your rice. And once you get once your stock is boiling, you put the rice in and put it on. It can kind of simmer. Should we put it on low?
No, medium. Okay. Actually, you can put it on me. So, some of the best parts of paella is something called socarrat. And it's basically this like crunchy layer of, I say burnt, but burnt rice at the bottom of the pan. It's this crunchy caramelized rice. We don't stir paella after a certain point because it's a term for this burnt rice at the bottom of the pan. Okay. Paella is not paella without this socarrat at the bottom. And so we're...
Socarrat?
Socarrat, it's S-O-C...
Socarrat.
C-O-R...
I'm going to add that with...
R-A-T-T, something along those lines, socarrat. But it's basically a crust of burnt rice at the bottom of the pan. So we want to develop the socarrat, and it's literally beyond the seafood and all the savory. It's the best part. So you don't want to stir it and disturb the rice so that it can't get that crust at the bottom, which is the best part. The rice has been simmering for about 5 minutes. So if you've got like if you're doing the chicken, Now's the time to add it in. I have salmon, so that one is going to be like something that's going to need a little bit of time to add in. So if you're my chicken folks, I'll show you guys like kind of how to arrange this. My salmon will need longer to cook than, say for example, some of the other proteins. So just arrange your chicken. I'm not going to pre-cook my salmon because again, I like mine like medium rare-ish. But I'm just going to set it on top and then I'll use my tongs to kind of nestle it down in. And I'm giving it some space. So if you've got the chicken, this is what you're going to want to do. Also, if you've got squid, you can also go in with that. Okay. So I'm going to go in with my squid next and just give it some space because we're going to want to leave some space for the other proteins, right?
So Jordan, how long should we potentially plan for this rice to kind of cook down, or will there be a sign for us to know that it's pretty much ready?
We're gonna go about 15-ish minutes.
Okay.
But we're going to really just kind of let the rice tell us.
Okay.
We want it al dente.
Hey Justin. Thanks, Shakira Sakurat. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but sure. Sakura, listen, look. It ain't wine.
So you see how I'm pushing it down to nestle it up into the rice? This is what you want to do to get it down into the stock so it can cook. I'm nestling everybody in.
What about scallops? Is it time for scallops yet?
No.
Okay. So I have, just so y'all know, I have scallops, shrimp, and clams. That's what I'm working with.
Couple of notes. Oh, I can talk about those. Couple of notes about scallops. No, child, I'm tired. Clams and mussels. Like I said in my IGTV, yep. If you've never cooked clams and mussels, you cannot eat these if they were dead before you cooked them. Couple of things to note. A good way to know if they're dead. Clams and mussels are kind of the opposite. Clams, when they're alive, are usually, when you get to them, they're usually closed. If you have one before you cook it that's open and you kind of fuck with it a little bit and it doesn't close, it usually means it's dead. However, I just pulled these out of the fridge and sometimes they were shocked because they were so closed. They were so cold that it won't close. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it's dead, but it is a good indication that if clams are already open, they're dead because usually clams will be sealed tight closed. And that means that they're alive.
That's how we know that our clams are still alive, the fact that they're sealed tight.
Usually. If you think that, oh, you got it from a reputable place and that maybe it's alive, when you cook it, if it doesn't open once it's cooked, then it was definitely dead. Mussels are the opposite. If they're open while they're in the pan, that's fine. But if you go to tap them and they don't close back up, they're usually dead. However, again, he closed real slow because they get cold in the fridge. So mussels will close to show that they're alive. And that lets you know these are all alive. So, but you have to give them a minute outside of the fridge because again, if they're shocked and they're cold, sometimes they won't do anything because they're just too cold to really respond to you. But after you have cooked them, if anything does not open after it's been cooked, then you know for sure that it's dead. Don't eat it. This guy, I've done enough to him, this little clam. I've done enough squeezing for my liking, and he's not closed as a clam. I'm not comfortable cooking him. To me, he's dead. So I'm not even gonna fool with that one. So if you just feel like this little mussel is open, but I'm gonna squeeze him a few times.
This is a fun, I never knew any of this. I don't really make it like that. I love it, but
he's been out of the fridge long enough. I feel like if he was alive, he would have closed too. So this mussel, it's just not worth the risk. I've got enough of these guys
Yes.
that I'm not fooling with it.
Hey,
So,
so Jordan, we have one more question. I
Yes.
have Fancy Candy who has lobster tails. When should those go in?
those can go in now once the we're about to put in our mussels, clams, shrimp, all that guy. You can just dice up your lobster, all that jazz. You can put your lobster meat in here as well.
Okay.
Clams, mussels, shrimp, all those. I'm going to put my shrimp in first because I want them to have the best little space for finding a home. So I'm going to find a little home for it. And again, everything is going to get pushed down into the rice, okay? But I'm just going to do that with tongs once I find them a home, right? So put in all your ingredients the way that you like it. Just keep in mind wherever you set it is going to be presentation-wise where it's going to live.
Oh.
So don't just put it any kind of way, okay? Just remember that that's how it's going to look when we're finished. Okay, everybody in.
Shrimp is in. I got
Okay.
everything else.
Don't forget about your beans, y'all.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
Okay, so like this one, he was open, I squeezed him, he closed. He's alive.
Wait, are scallops going in now?
Yep. Ooh, this is a big old giant thing. Yes. And then once you have everybody into your liking, then just nestle them down into the goodness. If you feel like you're running out of stock and you need some more, but your rice isn't cooked, if you need to take a little dollop off the top and give it a taste and it's still like mad crunchy, add a little bit of stock on top. Yes.
Miss M Fit said I had to let the beans go, unfortunately, and Miss Pretty Busy said my team is dead.
The whole team?
Not the whole team.
Oh no. I'm adding in my andouille's going in as well, guys.
Oh Lord. Wait, I don't know if I got room for all this.
Make room, girl.
Okay.
I may just sprinkle my andouille on top, but I'm gonna make room because we're hungry. Let the beans go. You can't let them go.
Listen, you reminded us of beans, rice.
Yes. If you want to do something cool with your andouille, you can do something like this and line your plate, along the sides, like so.
Well, this thing about to be bursting with flavor because
Hello.
there is so much stuff in here. I genuinely don't think I can get it all in.
Make it fit, girl. I don't like that, but
Wow. This looks so pretty. Let me show y'all mine real quick. Here we go. That's what it's so far.
and if you need to, make this paella again, and then just keep your stuff.
All right, so you said to put the sausage around the side, like a cute.
If you can't fit it, then yeah.
Put it around the side. All right, doing it. Happen.
Just fit as much as you can. Do what you got to do. I'm just fitting a lot because there's a lot of us, and I'm hungry. Okay, let me tell you guys, I'm
It's really being dry.
starvation, and I'm just gonna use this to push these in here. Okay.
Henry is not going with me in this paella. I can tell you that.
We're nestling. Everybody's in. We're nestling. My phone is not on vibrate. My apologies. I'm gonna give my pan a little spin because I don't want one side to be hotter than the other.
That's a really good call.
And just make sure everybody is nice and nestled. We're not trying to bury it. We're just nestling. Okay? I'm just gonna do like this, okay? I'm just gonna sprinkle that thing. Yes.
Yeah, you're not. This is so pretty.
And then it's gonna get garnished with some lemon wedges and the rest of our rosemary and our fresh parsley when it's done. No, not yet, rosemary. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to taste mine to see the doneness of my rice. I think that's technically not what you're supposed to do, but I mean, I don't make paella a whole lot. I'm also not Hispanic, so I'd rather just err on the side of I want to know if my rice is done. I know that my seafood is not done, but I want to see where my rice is at in terms of do I need more stock, you know?
Okay.
So I need to know if there's enough moisture in here to keep me going or if it needs a little bit more stock. So I'm just gonna find a little hole. It's still really, really white. So to me, that already means it's not ready.
Anyone just super duper proud who's cooking this? Like, who thought that you would learn how to make paella during a pandemic?
It's so good, though. It's not ready yet.
Pandemic. Is that? Oh, okay.
It's so good. It's not there yet in terms of rice being cooked, but the flavor, honey, let me tell you, it's getting there. So I'm just gonna add just a skosh more water. I'd say maybe a half a cup, just because the sides are just a little bit dry on mine. I've still got mine on a low heat. I'm going to, if you've got more stock, you can add more stock.
Okay, I'm gonna
add those bouillon cubes. So I'm out of the bouillon.
Got our countdown, sis. So we got about a minute and a half before we have to, you know the drill, y'all. We've been doing this long enough. So we're gonna log off, log back in, and keep the party going.
Tafari Music wants to know, Lotus, are you from the DMV?
I lived in the DMV. I lived in Baltimore. Well, see, y'all be acting funny about Baltimore and the DMV. I lived in Baltimore for 13 years. And my husband and I moved down here 6 years ago. So, but I spent plenty of time in DC and PG County when I started in this business as a sales rep for the distributor that I worked for. PG County was my stomping ground. So I pretty much walked all the way down from Laurel to the National Harbor. So yes, I do rep the DMV. Listen here, Marcia, you know they be acting funny. Baltimore, I think, is technically a part of the DMV, but not everyone feels that way.
Miss Pretty Busy wants to know, what about broth instead of the water?
Yes, if you've got broth, absolutely. But y'all know I use the bouillon cubes, and so I was out of that. But okay. I did have a little bit of that liquid reserved from when I took my squid out. So I just used a portion of that plus a little bit of water. But if you've got broth, go ahead in with that.
This is what I'm working with right now, y'all. We're literally about to count down, and then we're going to log back on. But we're doing good.
Okay.
I got 10 seconds. So
all right, come back and see us.
Be right back. Okay. Come on back in, y'all. Come on back in. Come on back in, y'all. Hey, 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 come on back. Looking for Miss Jordan. There she is. How do I boom? Jordan should be joining us any minute. Okay.
All right. So, a couple of things. We'll let that cook. I'm thinking another 5 to 10 minutes, depending on where you are in your steps. Probably about 8 on mine. I'm just gonna set a timer for 8. Okay.
I have a couple like little pools that aren't as quick as the rest, so just trying to dial in and be mindful of it. But other than that, it looks phenomenal. My clams are starting to open up. Oh, that's opening up so pretty.
Yeah.
Mr. Libation wants to know any red wine recommendations for this dish.
Yes, we are going to talk about the wine once it's done.
Absolutely. So I'm drinking a Ribera del Duero. We'll talk to it a bit more in a minute. But so we wanted to do, because everyone's palate is different, right? And everyone's right in wine. So we wanted to do a white wine and a red. So I have a Arborio, one of my favorites. But then I saw Verdejo and I'm like, oh, kind of got to do that. And then I did for the red, I pulled a Ribera del Duero, which is Tempranillo.
Mm-hmm.
But we've talked about this before when it comes to old world wine. They tend to do wines by region, not necessarily by the grape. So if you see a Rioja, a wine that says Rioja on the label, which is spelled Rioja, or a Ribera del Duero, that is Tempranillo. And I always make sure my Spanish is on point because it's not my first language. And I do try to be respectful, for the culture, like not disrespecting anybody or anything. So.
And I also have a Tempranillo, and I also got a Monastrell. And I will talk about why once we sit and eat and do some of the pairings. But I got a Monastrell Syrah blend from Bouillon, and my Rioja, I got a Grand Reserva. So 2, and then I got an Arborio because I have no self-control. So while your paella is cooking, what you're looking for is for all your water to absorb. If all your stock to absorb. If all your stock is absorbed and you give it a little taste and your rice is cooked, you're good to go. If your seafood is still not cooked, add a little bit more stock on top and just let your seafood continue to cook, and I'll show you what that looks like once mine is finished cooking. But while it's cooking, you guys should have some fresh parsley. If you got the dried, no problem, but my fresh parsley is here, so I'm just gonna slice that up. And then you should have had also a limon. This is for garnish, so I'm going to just chop these up. Shout out to Bite Life, my fabulous bamboo cutting board. But this is just going to be for garnish. I like to put a little bit of the fresh parsley in my black beans as well as on top of my paella. So
good in black beans.
Y'all cannot forget about our side
We were
dish.
excited about paella. We were not thinking about the black beans.
Oh my gosh, y'all, but the black beans with the sofrito, I'm trying to put y'all on game to something good. I can't even eat black beans if they're not prepared in this way.
They're edible. They're edible, but I forgot so many times.
I can tell y'all a little cheat. You know the little jars of the Goya? There's a Goya sofrito, like little jar. If I don't have any sofrito on hand, I go buy that little jar of the sofrito at the store and put that in my black beans. Child, you can't tell me nothing. I'm just saying. You can't tell me nothing. That's a great addition, and people will be like, "What's in these black beans?" Sofrito, but don't tell nobody. Okay. But while your paella is cooking, just go ahead and mince up your parsley, and then you can either do your lemon into wedges or do like a bartender slice on it, and just have it ready for when the paella comes out. Also have like a kitchen towel ready and some foil for
This is work.
Welcome to the chef life, okay?
Y'all be working.
Yes.
Listen, Chef, I appreciate you, but I'm listen, I got my already dried parsley. We just gonna have to make it work.
I hear you. And the towel and the foil will be for when we make the succulent. So I'm going to do like a bartender slice on mine. You can slice your lemon however you so choose.
I'm gonna drink and I'm gonna do that for my picture.
I like to squeeze a little lemon on top of my paella when I eat, and I'm really curious to taste this this dish with the mouvet dress. So I want to have it in its entirety. If Ashley will join me back over here.
It looks glorious. The rice is nice and tender. I understand now why we use a smaller grain, just because it doesn't take as long to have to cook.
Which one?
I understand why we use a different grain rice, like the what's the special name for it?
Bomba.
Bomba, because it doesn't take as long to cook. Like, it's really pretty.
Yes. Okay, so you guys can see on my paella, you see these beautiful guys here. These mussels are open. Are you open, little baby? Let's see.
This is what mine is looking like.
My clams are open.
There
Mussels are open. I'm just checking for anybody that did not join the party and did not open up. My shrimp are, you see these guys? Nice and bright pink. That's what I'm looking for. If there was some opaque, see how this one is still, he's a little grayish on the end. So I'm gonna push it over a little bit to have a little bit more heat on the sides of my pan, because I want to make sure that I'm not feeding nobody no raw seafood.
Yep. I feel like I have most of my clams have joined the party. I got like some who are like just trying to wake up a little bit.
Okay, so if you feel like everything's going, and then we still have to develop the socarette. So what we're gonna do is cut your heat source off. Oh, it's not hot. Look at God.
I need to join the party before I turn mine off. If not all your clams or mussels party.
Woo! So I'm bringing this over here. What I'm going to do is cover it with foil. If you've got a top, if you use like a Dutch oven or something like that, just put the top on it. If you don't have a top, use foil. And I'm going to use my towel. I'm going to cover this up. This will, in essence, any of the seafood that didn't get the even distribution of heat, it will continue to steam and cook that remaining bit, and then it will.
Lord, okay.
What happened?
I need a towel. So
you got a kitchen towel?
I got something. I'll dig it out.
Okay, just cover it up. I'm just using the towel so I don't burn my fingers.
Got you.
But do you? Okay. We're just gonna cover that up and let it steam for about 5 minutes, just to develop that crust on the bottom. That will also allow the clams or anybody that didn't get to any of the heat, it's gonna steam in here, and then we'll really know at the end for sure who's alive and who's not. And then we can discard those at the end. If any of the shrimp weren't fully cooked, there is enough heat still happening in the paella pan to bring it up to the rest of the heat. So we're just gonna let that do its thing. When it comes out, we'll garnish it with the fresh parsley and the lemon wedges. And if you still have beans, you can add some of your parsley to your black beans, and then give that a stir, and those are ready to eat. I'm gonna taste mine for salt and pepper, and then that will be served on the side for rice and beans for the side. I believe we have a question.
Miss Pretty Busy wants to know, if my clam didn't open, do I throw him away?
That means he was dead before you cooked him. And all right. Also, same with the mussels. If he didn't open, don't eat it. They release a toxin that will make you sick. I don't think it's to the point where it'll kill you, but don't quote me on that.
To the hospital during COVID-19.
Love somebody, but yeah, you don't want to eat them if they were dead already. And Miss Pretty Busy, we don't want to feed that to my baby, okay? We don't want to give her that. But yeah, cover that up and just let that rest. You can keep it on your stovetop. I just moved it over here because this is where my foil was. So, but don't leave it, if you've got electric like I do, move it off of your heat source so that it's not continuing to cook. Because we want to develop the soaker, but we don't want to we want it to get crispy on the bottom, but we're not trying to burn it to holy hell, okay?
I feel like I got a little, it's going to be real crispy.
It's supposed to be crunchy. This is like farmstead, farmhand food, done in big, huge paella pans in Valencia. Throw what in there. I think originally in Valencia it was done with rabbit and chicken and whatever scraps of vegetables were found. It was not a fancy, super elegant dish. This was some of our favorite Southern comfort foods. This was poor people's food. So it's not meant to be super elegant. It burns on the bottom because you do it over an open flame, but those flavors are what made it what it is. So if it's not perfect, enjoy it,
But like I said, paella during a pandemic. Who knew that a pandemic would force me to learn paella? I could have said 1,000 things that would have forced me to do. Making paella wasn't one of them.
What do you guys want to make next week? Larissa and I were talking about maybe a tikka masala. My grandfather is from India, so I make some pretty good curries. What do you guys think about that? We could do a curry. Would you guys be interested in that? What do you think? I know a friend of mine wants some keto recipes. Somebody said some vegan recipes.
Listen, I'm good with the tikka masala. If y'all have any others that maybe y'all want to try in addition, please go ahead and share them. So while we're waiting for the food to kind of do its last thing, let's start talking about these wines, right?
Yeah, and I'm going to add some parsley to my beans because I still got mine, okay?
I mean, I got them. I don't know if I'm the most proud. I'm proud of my paella. I'm not proud of them beans. It got forgotten too much. Yes, Indian, anything that involves naan, I'm down. Yeah, so I think that's a pretty good way. And I'm getting lots of hearts on the side, so that's a good sign.
Great. And I have a tikka masala recipe that's pretty easy to follow. I won't make it too crazy because it's hard to find some of the stuff during the pandemic or whatever. But my grandmother, taught us well. So, and that's a really fun one to pair with wine. So I think that would be fun because it's stuff outside of the spices, the proteins, and the things that you need to put in it. These are pantry raider recipes. So that might be a fun one. Yes, ma'am.
Miss Pretty Busy said pasta, and then LP41968 said pad thai or curry chicken.
Honey, I love pad thai. Okay, but my pad thai has a gajillion ingredients in it. If y'all are about that life, I'm so down. But pad thai.
Larissa's face.
I like spice. I like to cut my roots out. I like it.
We may have to do pad thai when the pandemic is over. Larissa and I are working on, when this is over, doing in-person live events. Pad thai may have to be something when we have a crew, honey, because this little Airbnb kitchen I have, that might be out. Let me see let me saute on that thought. Curry chicken I could do, but I'm not Caribbean, so I don't know if I can do an authentic Caribbean style curry chicken, but an Indian style I could definitely do. But let me saute on the pad thai. Let me see if I can come up with something that would be less.
Okay. But the tikka masala, I think, is the one for next week. So
Like tikka masala.
Sarah said that she'll help you. See, I make curry chicken, but like I just throw like every curry that I have.
Yeah.
In the pot.
Yeah, and it's like I can do a Caribbean style, but I don't want nobody from the islands coming for me because you know that's not the style that I grew up on. My grandmother taught us like an Indian style because of my grandfather. He's from Assam, so ours is an Indian style curry. But I don't want nobody from the islands like no. That's not the kind of curry I'm doing. Ours would be with naan and roti and dal and that type of thing. But you know, to each his own. Okay, so this is probably. Let's just take a little peek. See, I feel like.
Oh, I put my towel on top, but oh well, it's fine. No, Shakira, it would be you. It's fine. See, who all woke up?
Okay, so if you can just see here, my clams.
I didn't think we woke up. Hey, friends. Hi.
My clams are open. What happened?
I'm so excited.
My clams are open.
My friend woke up.
Okay, so you see, he's not open. He can't come. He can't eat with us.
All my friends woke up.
Did they wake up?
I'm not sure about you, friend. You opened up, but you weren't really committed to the party. So I don't know, but everybody else opened up.
As long as they opened, then it's okay. I only had one person that tried to poop on my party. And it was okay. It was a crowded party. It was, and you know, it was an introvert.
There was a lot going on in the party.
You know, you didn't have to come. It's cool. So then I'm just gonna
extra clams that I have because I couldn't get everything in there, so I'm gonna try to steam them, like throw some butter, garlicky, white wine stuff on them, and just so they don't go bad. But yeah, like I'm really pleased with how that turned out. That last step with the foil on top, clutch.
Yep. I'm gonna parsley bay this thing just to give it some color. Okay.
Where's my dry parsley?
So don't even get me started, okay? I'm going to lemon wedge this guy because
oh, come on, looking all pretty. Looking all pretty.
If you still had your remember my little guy that didn't open up? Boom, can't even tell.
Can't even see. Can't even see your brother.
If you still have some of your rosemary, now is the time.
Oh.
Okay.
Garnish. Okay.
Yeah. I think I want one more just framing this. Let me grab my rosemary.
Rinse this off real quick. All right. Y'all catching on a little quiet compared to myself. Sorry.
Okay. A little bit of this.
Grateful. Jordan, thank you for answering my late night text.
I got you, boo. Thank you for thinking of me.
I appreciate you for answering my late night text.
Y'all, Larissa texted me at midnight. I was looking at my phone. I looked at my phone. I looked at my dude, and I said, Lord, please don't let this be a man because I don't have nothing to do with this. I said, it's midnight. I said, Lord, I don't got time for this nonsense. I was like, look, it's a woman. Okay, who is it? Oh, it's Larissa. Okay, see, I didn't do anything wrong. I said, no, it's the girl.
And connected, like hung out for real. So let's talk about how organic this thing was. Jordan and I have seen each other in person one time, right?
One time.
Once, right? So was it the Andre Mack event?
It was the Andre Mack event.
Yeah, so.
Can I pause you real quick?
And so from there, we reconnected because of
Dream Big.
No, I know what it was. When you went to Wine Speak in Paso.
Yep.
It told me that when I went to Dream Big Darling that they struck your interest, and so we're part of this Dream Big Darling family. And then you were studying for certified, and then that got postponed. So we've actually never really kicked it.
Never.
Everything that you're seeing, this chemistry, everything is all via phone. But when we get on the other side of this, honey, let me tell you something.
BFFs forever.
Ow. All right, Marche, don't be acting funny because I know you real territorial.
Okay, Ashley literally just gave me a face and I was like,
I don't want no smoke, Ashley. Ashley, I want no smoke.
I don't want no smoke. Darcy, I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke. Guys, I just sprinkled a little bit of the smoked paprika over the top of mine because I can. Do you, with your creative liberties on top of yours? You know, now that I've seen it, I'm not feeling the rosemary on top of mine because I only have 2. So I'm going to remove them. And
like I had enough where it kind of looks like a little
well, I'm removing mine from the stems and I'm going to do like so like this and get some of this action. Because those 2 stems to me just look dumb. So I'm doing this.
What are you rubbing over the paella, Jordan? Are you rubbing something over the paella? Is it lemon?
That's what I was saying. I took a little of my smoked paprika and just dusted it.
Okay.
Yes, question?
Miss M. Fitz wants to know, what are we supposed to do with the 2 cans of diced tomatoes?
Child, that was for the sofrito.
For the beans.
That was for the sofrito.
In the sofrito, it was either tomatoes or cans of diced tomatoes. I use diced tomatoes in the cans to make my sofrito, or you could have used fresh tomatoes. So if you still have them, use them for something else.
I feel like can we like whip it up real quick and throw it on top?
No.
No? Oh.
No, you cannot. Sorry about that. Yeah, it was like the sofrito was like you could use the can of diced tomatoes to make the sofrito with the onions and the peppers, or use fresh tomatoes. I used diced tomatoes because I didn't feel like chopping up tomatoes, and they're not in season, so I don't like using fresh tomatoes when they're not in season. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to grab a bowl. I'm going to get some paella, pour up my 3 wines, and then set up shop and start snacking and tasting, okay? So if you guys are ready to start tasting along, let's get a bowl and let's see what this is talking about, okay?
So while you're doing that, let's talk briefly about the whole wine component. So, you know, this is obviously an opportunity for us to like learn a new skill. Like there's a few things that you can do to handle this pandemic. You can show self-care, relax, rest, not worry, you know, like not stress yourself out, or you can try to learn something new. There's so many ways that you can come out of this. We want you to be mentally, emotionally, physically healthy and safe. So Jordan and I came up with this thought process of, well, why, if you're interested, create a new skill with cooking. Like, we're all cooking so much. And of course, we're still supporting restaurants, but I mean, we have to cook more. We're cooking more than we've ever cooked before. Lord knows that the repertoire gets old real quick. So that being said, the wine component is important because, again, we want to elevate your experience. You can create a restaurant type experience at home if you can't order out as often as you would like, then let's help you create here. And then in turn, when the doors do open up, except for you're in Georgia, do not take your behind out anywhere anytime soon.
We're not talking about no Friday.
So we're not going out on Friday or Monday, but when the doors do truly open up and it's a safe environment for us to truly get back to what was real, what we may have known before, even though the normalcy might look different, what can you do and what tools do you have so that when you go to a restaurant, you know, oh, well, I tried this and I know I can have this wine paired with it. So our thought process for tonight was, if there's this saying that if it grows there, it will pair. So we specifically chose Spanish wines to pair with the food tonight because it's a Spanish dish. It only makes sense. So Arborio is probably one of my favorite white wines. It is it's just a beautiful wine that pairs with seafood and shellfish. This comes from Arborio, from the Rio Spicious region. Comes from like what's called a fisherman's town. So I used to be a distributor sales rep many years ago, and when I was working with my supplier for Gallo, he introduced me to Martin Kodak. Is a wine that you can pretty much find almost anywhere. And what I loved about the wine was the story behind it. So this is essentially like a fisherman's area, fisherman's town. And so if you have all this seafood that's coming into your ports, then the wines are going to reflect that beautiful scenario. So shellfish, anything seafood related, Arborio is going to be one of the best pairings. One of the key notes with Arborio is a citrus note. And you think about what you always put on your seafood, lemon. So it's one of those things where if I ever have a situation where I'm teaching and I shrimp cocktail on the menu, I will have everyone take a bite of the shrimp if there's no allergy, and then take a sip of the wine, then take a bite of the shrimp, take a sip of the wine again, and then you just see how that beautiful pairing comes together. If a wine that you have isn't necessarily what you would want to drink, it's not a quaffable wine, what we reference as a wine that you would just sit down on the deck and drink, think about ways that you can pair it with food and what would you pair it with to make that wine go better, okay? So what you doing, Jordan? Did you try it? Is that everything you see?
I had to make my little plate, child. I'm ready. I got my 3 wines lined up. I don't want you in the background, little purse thing. So, yes.
Oh, this is so good. Let me try, but I want to use the picture of the pan as my picture. What did I just do? Sorry. I want to use a picture of the pan as my picture, but obviously I can't do that because I'm on my phone. So I'm just going to kind of steal little bites here and there and go from there.
I just want to taste this rice for a second. Y'all, first of all,
just had some new people join in. We made paella tonight, and this is what my pan looks like. Never made paella before. Never thought that the pandemic would put me in a position that I was gonna make paella, but that's where we are. So
this rice, this paella, y'all. Let me just thank him real fast because it's a blessing.
Girl.
Sometimes I feel away liking my own food because I'm not trying to be away. Yes, I'm a chef. Okay, I know I make good food. But sometimes I even surprise myself. Okay? This is delicious.
This is good, sis. I have impressed myself.
Cheers to you. Cheers to you. I have 3 different wines. I have an Arborio from Ritas Bajas.
Come on over. You're about to see the hubs in his most authentic form so he can take a little bite.
Yes, come get a bite. Obviously, the Ritas Bajas is going to be the obvious choice. This is an unoaked white wine. You're going to want an unoaked, pre-cooked. You're going to, somebody said, I'm all up on this dish. Yes. You're going to want an unoaked variety just because this region, this is a thicker skinned grape, so it's going to really respond well to the fogginess, the dampness of the region of this part of Spain. So it really preserves the nice acidity. It works really well with the seafood in this dish. So this is great. That's the obvious choice. My reason for going with perhaps the Mourvedre and why we went with the Tempranillo is because you mentioned Wine Speak, and Randy Carparozza was there, and he spoke, and he's a wine editor, a wine writer at Wine Enthusiast, and he is all about writing about wine pairings from a scientific perspective and really kind of pushing the envelope on these beans. Okay, I tried to tell y'all about these beans, y'all. Y'all was asleep on these beans, okay? He really is really pushing the envelope on food and wine pairings and not just seafood with white wine and never. And so they really delve into the point of the concept of umami. Umami is not a sensory thing that's salty. It's not sweet. It's more of that sensation of when you taste something, it's yum. It's It's that sensory thing that soy, mushrooms, when you add all these spices and things that Asian spices give you, that's the sensation that you get from umami. And that's why Asian spices give you that umami flavor. They found out that in the skins of grapes, that's where the compounds for umami are found, because they're found in amino acids. You can't get umami essentially in white wine because it's obviously not spent on the skin. So they're finding that so many more seafood type dishes would pair well with red wines, because seafoods like salmon has a high quality of amino acids or glutamates. They pair really nicely with red wines because of that umami quality. So I went with the Mourvedre because of that amino acid quality. So tomatoes have some of the highest components of amino acids: almonds, soy, bacon, beef, Parmesan Reggiano, those type of things. You think of like spaghetti, when you add Parmesan to it, yes, you're adding saltiness. Yes, you're adding a component of cheese, but really what you're adding to it is that savory quality. Savory is really, from a scientific perspective, you're adding umami. And if you can find the wines that are not going to add to the tannic quality, but still play on that umami note, you find really, really nice pairings. So the easy drinking reds like Pinot Noir, Zinfandel, Mourvedre, who else? Petit Syrah are going to pair nicely with seafoods, cioppino, paella, salmon, because you still get the amino acids without it being like a fruit bomb or it being super tannic. So I went with the Monastrell. Monastrell and Mourvedre, guys, are the same grape. It's just, it's alias. So if it grows together, it goes together. This is a Spanish wine from Bouillon. It's south, I guess kind of southeast near Jumilla in Spain. I went with this Monastrell as just a, it's still from Spain. It's still from that region, but I wanted to try still an easy drinking grape, but to play on maybe trying something a little bit off the grain. A Tempranillo still is an easy drinking fruit forward grape, and it's still got the acidity to really play with, you know, being able to, I can't stay out the food. Yes, I'm proud of you too, boo. You know, to really play with the seafood. But if you try and match foods with the umami quality with your wine, that is still a really nice pairing as to just going with the obvious butter for butter or sweet and salty. If you go for umami, you can still go for really off the wall pairings. Like I said, example, last week we did that glazed salmon and chicken, and I said you could do the glazed salmon with a Zinfandel. It's a similar quality. There's quite a bit of umami in that salmon, and that still is going to play into the umami notes and the amino acids of like a red Zin from California. It's a similar concept. So you don't have to go so obvious in your pairings, just play with it. So I'm gonna just eat because
yeah. So Food and Wine Chronicles, how do you feel about dry rosé from Mara or Rioja paired perfect?
Hello?
Those all work. Like, so the Tempranillo that I chose, let me switch it so that y'all can see the label. Vizcara, this is a Ribera del Duero, excuse me. The reason why I really like this wine is that it had a little tasting. It was pretty neutral. And so it was going to allow that fresh fruit aroma and flavor to really shine through. I didn't want something over oaked. So this is their entry level. They make amazing wines. They're an amazing producer out of the Ribera del Duero. But when I tell you, so the sausage and the seafood just combine in this dish, and you literally can go either way. I wouldn't go with a big bold tannic red, but that's why we asked in the beginning, like if you have a red, to put a slight chill on it, something that's fruit forward and just delicious with this food. Like I can't go wrong. The one thing that I have not tried yet is this Verdejo, and of course it's been sitting out the whole time we've been talking, but I'm gonna go ahead and just take one for the team and try it, because that's what I do. I'm a team player, And you pulled a different one though. You pulled 3 wines too.
Let me show y'all real quick. And I have now confirmed.
We always say 2, and then we wind up pulling more than 3 because we go into I can't go into the store, but I'll go on to, y'all know, 3 Parks Wine. I can walk to it. So I literally will get to just go on our website, see what I want. I'm like, oh, well, that sounds interesting. Let me add that to the bucket. So
that's why I always put
something to keep in mind if you ever encounter a wax top. Don't try to cut the wax.
I always put in the comments my 3rd wine because what is 2 wines?
We're home.
Child, last week with the
like we ain't got nowhere to go.
I bought 4 last week, or was it 5?
I know I was still drinking wine from Thursday on Saturday.
I still have a Vouvray in the fridge, okay?
Oh, all my wine is gone.
It's unopened, but
that's the difference. Yeah, it's all gone.
Let me show y'all what I bought, but let me go ahead and plug this phone in because technology said, Jordan, you're not gonna be great today, and I said, says who? I'm gonna show you guys what I bought. I think I'm all up on my forehead right now, but I apologize. As long as it's not my double chin, let's do this angle. All right, let's get these bottles. All right. Okay. So I have Castillo Clavillo 2011 Gran Reserva from Rioja. Beautiful dried fruit, lavender, earth notes on this one. I'm drinking this out of a beautiful Rito glasswares here. This is fabulous glass. Valde Sosego Arborio from Rías Baixas, 2018. No oak on this guy here. And then Tesoro de Bullas, Monastrell Syrah. It's got 91 points on suckling. I don't really go by points, but if your rice is undercooked, boo, just add a little bit more stock and add it back to the top of your stovetop and just cook it until it's a little bit more cooked. And this is a 2014 vintage, okay? Which one, Shakira? What on the Rioja? My Rioja is 2011 vintage. My Arborio is 2018. What were you asking? I'm sorry, I missed.
Say what the, so one of the things, I pulled out notes, y'all. Listen, every week we do this, do something extra. So Rioja in particular, they have a hierarchy when it comes to their aging requirements. So if it just says Rioja, it used to be Joven back in the day.
Right.
But which means young. Now it just says Rioja. That means that is low to no oak and 1 to 2 years of aging. If you see this is only for wines that have Rioja on the label. If you see a wine that says Crianza, that means that it spent 1 year in oak and it spent 1 year in the bottle. If you see a wine that says Reserva, it spent 1 year in oak, 2 years in bottle. And if it says Gran Reserva, it spent 2 years at least 2 years in oak, 3 years in bottles. Many times the very notable producers will extend those agings, but that's the minimum requirement. And I see Shakira asking about American oak. American oak is something that's very notable with Tempranillo.
So, she was asking a question on my Arborio. No, I was saying no oak on my Arborio, Shakira. My Rioja, I believe this one was American oak.
If it's out of Spain and it's a Tempranillo, they're using it in some way, shape, or form. That's actually a call.
But like these days, French oak is like really popular now.
True.
It's becoming really popular in Spain for them to start using French oak. I don't know why.
That's one that I was always like. That was always a call for me during a blind tasting was the American oak versus, I always get Tempranillo and Sangiovese. I always mix them up in a blind tasting. But one of the things that was always kind of the standout for the Tempranillo from Spain or Rioja is because they use American oak. So they have like Shakira's like dill. There's some like very notable aromas that, listen, not my ministry. It's a lot. But American oak is something that's very much known for, so I can tell you for the Ribeiro that I'm drinking, this is actually I think it's American oak, as well as they may have used a little bit of French. Let me just pull it up real quick.
And this Castillo Clavillo says,
so they did a blend of French and American oak, but it was all neutral. So they're going to, it's just so hard not to go down the rabbit hole with and not get too like wine geeky. So a new oak barrel is going to impart more flavor and aroma.
Can I flip this upside down? Still.
So they're using the particular Tempranillo blend of American and French, but it's neutral. So it's there. Thanks, Shakira. It's there. It's going to impart oak.
Nope.
I can get up.
I'm trying to. I gotta charge this phone. I was like, if I flip this upside down, will it work? And I was like, yep, nope, didn't work.
So yeah,
I was like, oh, a lot of boobs.
Yeah, so this was my red wine was aged for only 6 months in French and American oak barrels that are 2 years old. So it's imparting some, but it's not going to impart like the same amount and that same punch that a new oak would age. But to your point, French oak is used, but Spain is one of the few regions that actually use American oak, and they tote American oak, and that's actually a call when you're looking at it from a blind tasting perspective. Like there's that the dill in vanilla is like this particular call that comes from American oak that you just can't get from. Dill isn't going to be part of the French oak, point blank period.
Right. And I always get from American oak like coconut,
thank you. That was the other one I could not.
Yeah, like that's always any kind of coconut or dill, and I know to rule out anything French, and then I at least know some countries that it's not.
Big giveaway, right? Because you're using and you're removing what it couldn't be based on what you're seeing, smelling, and tasting. So,
and guys, when we're saying this, we're saying like if we're trying to do, for a lot of the certifications for SOMs, we have to do blind taste. So when we're saying ruling things out, we're just saying in the event of a blind taste, if we're picking up certain notes from oak, if you're tasting dill or coconut, only certain countries use certain oaks. So it's like, if you're just drinking wine just for the sake of drinking wine, it doesn't make a difference that you're tasting dill or coconut. Just drink it because it's delicious. But in the event that you're trying to build a deductive tasting grid or just, building your tasting notes, that's what we're referring to, that you can start ruling out certain countries. We know that Spain is a country that uses a lot of American oak. We know that Australia. Australia is a country that likes to use, American oak. So it's like, and there's some countries that are just through and through French oak. So it's like, if you taste a red wine and it's like, okay, I got dill, I got coconut. There are just certain countries you're like, we know it's not that, and you can start working your way down. So if you're studying to be a som, that's just how you start to build that tasting repertoire. Because it's hard.
It's your what's the word when you have like a whole little
Rolodex.
Rolodex.
So now that you've had your paella and you've got your wine, which is your favorite with the paella? Actually, you need to try the Muvedra with the paella. No, that's the Tempranillo.
I'm actually very surprised with. Did I show my age with the Rolodex, sis? Whatever.
I knew what you was talking about.
I am very pleasantly surprised with the Tempranillo because I am developing my palate for Spanish reds. When it comes to Spanish white wines, I love them. I love Arborio. Anything that's Spanish white, Cava, well, yes, Cava, Arborio, Verdejo, you name it, I'm here for it. But red wines, I'm developing my palate. So for me, when I drink a Spanish red wine, I'm thinking about, well, what would I pair this with? Because it's not something that I would automatically just say, I just want to drink this on my deck on a, you know, random night. I have those wines that I like, and Spanish reds don't necessarily fit the bill. So you're the one that actually said we should go with the Tempranillo. And I'm like, I mean, okay.
You had a deck full of white wine. I was like, no.
I am so pleasantly surprised with this. And again, we're really trying to dispel the myth that just because you have seafood, you have to have a white wine or a rosé. If you have red meat, you have to have red. Like, you can literally cross those barriers, and it depends on the preparation. Really, it depends on the preparation. And so, and again, the thought process. If I say if it grows there, it will pair. What do you say, Jordan?
The preparation is key. Preparation, sauce, the spices.
Gave like a rhyme for, I say if it grows there, it'll pair. You say something else though. You say
if it goes together, it goes together.
If it grows together, it goes together. Exactly. So same thing, just different terms. But really and truly just trying to get you out of that thought process of, oh, well, if I have a white wine, I have to have seafood or chicken or something light. Like, you can definitely cross those boundaries. Jordan helped me with that, with her chefy self. I was like, I mean, okay, sis, if you want to do it, we can, but I just want to stick with what I know.
Yeah.
But I need to know too, and that's what this is all about. So
yeah, totally.
Do you need me to show you my wine? So let me tell you something real quick. I opened up this Verdejo. I'm gonna show you the bottle so that y'all can understand. This is amazing. It kind of changed my life in a good way. So I'm here for it. And then I'll show you a picture of my Arborio, which is halfway gone. Y'all, I've clearly had a lot of wine to drink tonight. So, and then my Ribera del Duero. So in Spain, Tempranillo has a ton of different names, but there's lots of Tempranillo all over the place. Cool?
But
of these wines, for the record, and again, like when I say the whole wine is my passport thing, all of these wines were like $22 or less. Like, me, my sweet spot is like $15 to $20, and we're not going nowhere anytime soon. Like, you can literally go almost anywhere in the world for $15 to $20 and get that authentic expression of the region. I believe that the Vizcara wines, their grapes are grown organically. Like, these are just, you get great value with Spain. So that's the main thing. And Shakira talks about that all the time. Like, there's just great value with Spain. You can literally go to Spain for $15 to $20. Boom. Right. Mine were both 18. That's my major palate.
Now that I've had all three, I'm gonna have to say that the Monastrell is hands down the best one that I've had with this paella. I was assuming it was going to be the Tempranillo, but this Monastrell, aka Mourvedre, aka like 4 other names, has snuck up on me, y'all. I don't even know why. The Arborio was great, but this paella is so savory and just so luscious. The just really soft fruit notes of this Mourvedre. It's not too tannic. I think I did squeeze some lemon on top of my paella, so there's already some nice acidity in here. So the fact that this Monastrell is not a super acidic wine isn't really like a bad thing. This thing is rocking. If you've never had a Monastrell, I think this one was, I probably have the receipt in my thing, y'all, but everything was like under like $20 or something like that. But it was amazing. I got mine from Total Wine because mine is like, my Total Wine is down the street. But this Monastrell is amazing. Let's see what I paid for it.
So it's biodynamic Verdejo. So yeah, I mean, all of these wines are great quality, handmade wines. They're not mass produced.
I think it was like $20.
Like,
I think it was like 18 to $20, something like that. But if you've never had a Monastrell or Mourvedre, get one. If you're gonna have some leftovers of your paella, just run out and grab one. If you've never tried this varietal, it's worth a try to really give this a shot with this dish. This is
hand to the man. The red is my favorite. I just knew that it was going to be the Arborio. The Verdejo is amazing, but with this, again, that savoriness, the umami that's in this dish, like this holds up amazingly. It's so beautiful. And again, because I chose this wine because it had very low oak integration, I'm blown away. Like, I would have not chosen this. Like, I know that theoretically it could pair, but it wouldn't have been my knee-jerk reaction to grab a red to go with a seafood paella. So I am all the bee's knees and happy. Like, this is amazing.
I'm so glad. And people in the comments are loving their food. I'm so happy. And the fact that you say you don't drink Spanish red, let me tell you something. If the world was ending, or they said you can only drink one red wine for the rest of your life, my favorite end all be all, I can only have one wine for the rest of my life is Priorat.
For the rest of your life.
If I had to pick one, it's Priorat.
You got some fans. I know that there are some Priorat lovers in here.
That's it. It's Garnacha. It's Priorat. That's it. Like, I was really like, I was doing a little research, I don't want to sound dumb, whatever. Just make sure I'm up on my Spain, and I'm thinking of all the wonderful things that I've had, and I love pinfolds, and I love so many other things. But if they said, Jordan, here's a little island, here's you, we're going to ship you one wine for the rest of your life, Priorat. That's it.
Wow.
I love Spanish red wine.
And that's why that's why I wholeheartedly say that I'm difficult with my palate. And I say that you are encouraged, if you have a wine that you're not crazy about or that you don't like, to not shut down that wine or that region or that country, because it could have just been that particular, style that you didn't like. There's just so many reasons why. So I always say, I don't shut out anything. Like, I always say that Viognier is another wine that I'm developing my palates with. I will show you some Viogniers that will. A palette for Viognier, because I know there is another expression out there that I will absolutely love. Like, I am so blown away that Ribera del Duero paired, to me, better with our paella versus, not to say that the Verdejo and that the Arborio did not work, because they definitely did. But if I had to put all three together, I love this. It just, oh my gosh.
Me too, Shakira. Me too. So Ashley here asked me, is that a brand? So Priorat, guys, is a winemaking region in Spain. It's southeast. I always have to do like that because I can always visualize them on my map. It's east. It's the eastern part. It's in it's near Barcelona, like a little bit further south of Barcelona, on the eastern coastal region of Spain. It's kind of the heart of Garnacha. The oldest vines in the world of Garnacha are made in Priorat. Usually if you see Priorat on the label, it means Garnacha. Garnacha is my favorite grape. Garnacha and Grenache are the same grape. If you see Grenache, that means it's made in France, or somewhere else. They make Grenache everywhere else, but Grenache and Garnacha are the same grape. But I like the way the Spanish make Garnachas. But Priorat, the vines have to work so hard to make grapes, and they're put through so much, and they struggle so much that they, you know how like people from the hood just come out and they just do such great things because they just had to work so hard to make it. That's how I feel about Garnacha coming out of Priorat. They just get put through so much that they're just making some of the best wine because they just had to, you know, toil and struggle, you know, through life, you know what I mean? So Priorat is like the same, like with the temperatures and life and the soil types, they just get put through so much that the wines coming out of there are just, the elevation, it's just crazy. So to me, it's just a wonderful expression. The old vines, the earthiness, the acidity, the fruit. But you know, there it is. There it is. Priorat is in the region of,
it could be whatever you need it to be.
Catalonia. It's in Cabo world. That's where all the cava in the world is coming from. That's where Priorat is. But if I had to pick one, so it's wine for thugs. Yes, this is thug wine.
Wine I'm drinking.
I'm a thug.
In the middle. Yes. It could be whatever you need it to be, if it needs to be a wine for thugs. But this is when I say wine is your passport. Like, you can literally go down. Like, you're not just going to Spain, but you're going to a specific region of Spain, and that's what makes wine so special. Arborio is going to be up here. This is Ria Spicious up here. Again, a full area. That's why it pairs so beautifully with seafood. We're doing okay. We're holding up. Do y'all have any other questions? I feel like we've held y'all for a good minute. They about to kick us off again. I feel it because it just is. But
Priorat is also, although it's thug wine, it would be more like dope boy wine because it's expensive. Like, this ain't like weed man wine. It's like the boss wine. Like, it's very expensive. It's some of the oldest Garnacha vines in the world. They have to be, because of the way the vines are planted and the elevation. Shut up, jury. You have to hand harvest these vines. It's very dangerous to get these grapes. So Priorat is very expensive. So this is not, I'm so sorry, y'all. So this is not just, you know, this ain't street level thugs, okay? This is.
Let them know that there's levels.
Okay, there's levels to this thug life, okay?
But I got my countdown. We're down to 2 minutes. Y'all have hung with us for 2 hours. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be here with us. And for that, we are super duper grateful. So I think tikka masala is going to be what we're going to do next week. Stay tuned. We'll post it on some point Saturday so that you're able to get your ingredients and everything. We didn't talk about United Sommelier Foundation or the charitable arm of what we're doing.
Again, we've posted our Cash Apps and our Venmos. We are still collecting funds to keep these classes going. We are still donating 25% to paying it forward. If you're learning something, if you're having fun, we signed Chef Jordan Lynn. I think you pinned it, didn't you?
I did, but when we got kicked off,
Okay. Well, we'll just post it and in our stories. If you want to donate to keep it going, that's great. We donated $80 last week to United Som Foundation. We appreciate you guys. We're having fun. We'll be back next week, and we will donate again to, I think we're going to do an individual next week to keep paying it forward, but we appreciate y'all, and cheers to you guys.
Cheers, y'all. Until next week. We'll
Bye.
see you. Bye.
Wine thugs. I'm so